Hi there everyone, this is Suzanne Wagner and we're doing the daily Numerology and Astrology. This one is for March 25th, 2021. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 15, and if you add the 1 and the 5 together, you get the number 6. The number 6 represents the external manifestation of humanity's level of conscious awareness. When many awakened minds work together, they can institute a massive change, the likes of which we have not seen in a very long time. Humanity is prepared for a leap into a future that humankind has been repeatedly promised and just as often managed to sabotage. I hope for a world where humanity rises to its highest calling. There will be many communities that can and will rise up to stand tall against those who intend to tear people and worlds apart. The number 4 implies that art manifests in places where domesticity, quiet, and spiritual inspiration are honored. Each of us is a part of a community right now. Our country was based on the agreed ideals of freedom and opportunity. All communities intend to support those people within it, or it cannot be a community. We fight for the rules and the laws of our community. We are being asked to seek truth and justice. It is not about being right, but about what is right. It is time for egos to be set aside in favor of the bigger picture. Sometimes personal sacrifice needs to happen for the safety of the larger community. Sacrifice is sometimes in order to determine truth is the greatest manifestation of the number 6. Unfortunately, people die. But the beliefs of great civilizations lost to time live on in the ideals and projections that they manage to manifest and embody on this planet. No matter what, it is essential to align with the highest ideals that each of us can manage to capture within our heart and soul. Let it lead us towards a much better world. The astrology today. Things seem to be breaking down. That seems to become more apparent. Change comes hard to some, and the future seems a big unknown in the wake of so much happening. What is clear is that patterns are breaking down. It is something that will last for years. This pattern intends to dismantle the dysfunctional methods within systems and modernize all things to drive a wedge towards separating the horrific human history with the dream of the human potential. Spring is exploding, flowers are blooming, rains are falling, and the season allows us to see the beauty in life and embrace it fully. It is time to reach out and connect to those that have touched our life deeply. It is time to remember the good things that have impacted us to a substantial degree. We are beginning to find a new balance between humanity and nature. Know that this week there are still those that want to use language as a weapon rather than as a tool for enlightenment. The process of claiming harmony inside will lead us to find and create the harmony outside. The day starts with the moon in Leo. Know that the tendency is to overindulge, and it will bring a spring to your step and a smile to your face. The moon will go into the detailed sign of Virgo close to midnight Eastern Time. This moon will help us get organized and put those thoughts into action. But while the moon blooms in Leo, let your affectionate side out into the fresh, warm air of spring. And my quote for today: it is not about being right, but about what is right. And my blog for today: human conceit and spiritual arrogance are a disease running earth at this time. It is important to remember that man makes mistakes, then hopefully learns and grows from those mistakes. To think that science is perfect is, of course, not viable, but also to believe that faith alone can heal everyone is not a reality-driven thought. It is an opinion, and that opinion historically has killed hundreds of millions over the centuries. I believe the best course of action is to utilize both. I believe that faith in a higher power can support immune systems. It gives hope and allows for processes of forgiveness and acceptance when confronting death. And I believe that it is spiritual arrogance to ignore what we know about bodies, viruses, mutations, immunity, herbs, and medications. More than spiritual arrogance, it is insanity. It is a clear indication of a type of mental illness brought about by unresolved wounding and fear. I notice that all over the planet. Some believe that they know better than experts who have studied their entire lives on subjects concerning diseases and viruses. Some falsely believe that their spiritual beliefs alone will protect them. History has proven again and again that such a belief is not real or possible in the bigger scheme of things. We were moving towards the blending of science and spirituality for the past many decades, and it was so exciting and such a relief to see. Of course, in the last few years, that journey was hijacked by those that want to pull us dangerously back into the Dark Ages. That is a place where fear controlled the minds of humanity. If you think that wearing a mask is extreme, take a look at what the zealots of the Dark Ages did to reinforce their belief that God and God alone would save them. They wore elaborate masks with long snouts that were stuffed with herbs and strong-smelling things because in their delusion about God, they believed that they thought God was saying when what was speaking was only their mind and fear. In the Dark Ages, there were many that walked through the streets publicly flagellating themselves, believing that if they publicly suffered for mankind like Jesus did, that they would be saved from the terrible onslaught of the Black Plague. It did not work. Fear breeds more painful and dangerous patterns of human behavior than healthy ones. In the Dark Ages, their fear and superstition of cats made them kill all the cats. And the consequence was that single choice allowed the plague to explode into the populace unchecked. People are amazingly creative, and sometimes those choices work against humanity itself. The fear-based habits of humanity constantly seeking comfort can drag us back into patterns that never worked historically, but then our mind makes up stories that within that past, we can find a way through this present circumstance. A total and complete lie, especially when we change historical facts to fit our biases. At other times, that ingenuity propels us beyond the known and into the unfamiliar and out of the constriction of fear and into the innovation, progress, change, and dreams. I hope we can do the latter. I hope we will not let our dangerous history delude us in ways that allow our fear to become the driving force into the repetition of terrible actions that did not work centuries ago and will not work now. Thanks, everyone.